Obioma, if you don't want him anymore, I will take him back. Take him back. Darra, are you hearing yourself? I'm serious. I want my child back. And how exactly will you explain that? Oh, honey, the child I said died 2 years ago. I actually gave him to my sister. Is that what you will tell Onyeka? You want to scatter your marriage. You want him to throw you out. Obioma, you are wicked. God will punish you.
In the quiet town of Nsukka, where orange trees lined the dusty roads and evening breeze carried the smell of roasted corn, lived a woman named Obioma. She had been married for 12 years, yet her womb remained silent. In those years, she visited every place where hope was rumored to exist: prayer houses, churches, mountains, even the small dim shrines hidden deep inside the bushes of Ezik. Every year, her desperation deepened. Sometimes her husband, Udoka, would return from work to find her kneeling on the cold tiles, crying into her palms. "I don't know what else to do," she would whisper whenever he lifted her up. "I just want to carry my own child." Udoka always held her gently and said the same words: "It will happen, Obioma. Stop worrying. God's time is the best." But the reassurance never filled the void. Her younger sister, Darra, had gotten married years after her, and when Darra gave birth to a bouncing baby boy the next year, Obioma was the happiest person on earth. She bought clothes, diapers, rattles, feeding bottles, almost enough to fill a store. When she arrived at Darra's home in Abakpa, she carried all the items in 3 big bags. "You didn't need to buy all these," Darra said, laughing as she hugged her sister. "I wanted to. I am so happy for you." She stayed with Darra for 3 weeks, helping to bathe the baby, feeding him at night, rocking him when he cried. Sometimes she watched him for hours, smiling at the way his tiny fingers curled around hers. One night, when Darra walked into the room and saw her sister crying quietly as she held the baby, she asked, "Obioma, are you all right?" Obioma wiped her face quickly. "I'm fine. He is so beautiful." "You will carry your own child soon," Darra said softly. Obioma nodded even though fear soaked her heart. A month later, Obioma called Darra in tears. "I need your help," she cried. "Please. I am begging you. Help me." "What happened?" Darra asked, worried. "I want you to help me have a child." There was silence on the phone. "Obioma, how?" Darra asked. "Please. When you get pregnant again, give me the child. I will pretend I am pregnant. I will raise the child as mine. I am begging you." "I don't know about this," Darra whispered. "It is wrong. What will I tell my husband?" "You don't have to tell him. Please, Darra. You are my only hope." For weeks, Darra refused. But every time she heard her sister's broken voice or saw her puffy eyes when they visited each other, she broke a little inside. One evening, she finally agreed. "Fine," she said quietly. "If I get pregnant again, I will give you the child." Obioma burst into tears of relief. 2 years passed before Darra finally conceived again. The day they went for a scan together at a small hospital in Abakpa, the nurse smiled and said, "Congratulations. You are carrying twins, a boy and a girl." Both sisters gasped in excitement. They hugged, laughed, and even cried. But on the drive home, the joy slowly turned into disagreement. "I want both children," Obioma said suddenly. Darra's eyes widened. "What? That was not what we agreed. I have waited too long. If I take both, I will never have to worry again." "Obioma, no. I cannot give you both my children. But you already have one child. And you will have more." "That is not the point," Darra said, her voice shaking. "I promised you one child. Not 2. 4 days, they exchanged harsh words, cold silences, and bitter text messages. Udoka noticed his wife's mood, but she never explained. Eventually, Obioma grudgingly agreed to take only one. "Fine," she said. "I will take the boy." When Darra gave birth at Lifecare Hospital, Abakpa, she made the most painful decision of her life. She secretly wrapped the baby boy and handed him over to Obioma at midnight, behind the hospital, her hands trembling as she kissed her son's forehead. "Take care of him," she whispered with tears streaming down her face. "Promise me." "I will," Obioma swore. He is mine now. When Darra's husband asked where the second baby was, she cried and said, I lost the boy. He held her and soothed her, never suspecting a thing. Back in Nsukka, Udoka was overjoyed to see the baby. I told you, he smiled, lifting the baby boy gently. I told you God will bless us. The entire family celebrated. Both families rejoiced. Neighbors danced. Church members prayed. Obioma glowed with pride everywhere she went. She pampered the boy, fed him well, bought him toys, and wrapped him in the softest blankets. Everyone said motherhood looked good on her. 1 year later, something happened no one expected. Obioma became pregnant, naturally. When she gave birth to a set of twins, a boy and girl, the celebration shook the entire neighborhood. Relatives traveled from far places for the child dedication. The church was full. A full band played. People danced until their legs hurt. But after the joy came the change. Obioma gradually stopped paying attention to the little boy, the boy that opened her womb. She stopped bathing him early. She stopped giving him good food. Sometimes she shouted at him for crying. She bought fancy clothes for her biological children and left him with worn-out ones. Darra's boy quickly became the child no one looked at twice. His hair became rough, his slippers too small, his clothes faded and hanging awkwardly on his small body. Udoka noticed immediately. Obioma, why is this boy looking like this? He asked one morning as he held the child's thin wrist. I have been busy, she replied flatly. You take care of the twins but ignore him. Why? He is stubborn. He is a child. Why are you treating him like this? I didn't say I don't care for him, she snapped. But she did not change. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. The boy grew leaner. One Saturday afternoon, Darra visited unexpectedly. The moment she entered the compound and saw her son sitting on the floor, dusty and hungry-looking, eating Gary without sugar, she gasped.
Why are you eating this?
Because I dey hungry, I no get choice.
My God, she whispered. She knelt and lifted his face. What happened to you? The boy looked confused. He didn't recognize her. She stormed inside. Obioma, what is wrong with you? Obioma looked up calmly from where she was braiding her daughter's hair. What is it? Why is he looking like that? Why is he so skinny? Why are you treating him like he is not human? Obioma scoffed. Darra, I don't have time for this drama. This is wickedness. Do you know what this child means? He brought good luck to you. Please. Obioma cut in sharply. Stop that nonsense. I take care of him. No, you don't. You are treating him like an orphan. Obioma stood up slowly. Listen to me. He is my son. You gave him to me. Stop interfering. I will take him back. Darra shouted, shaking. You clearly don't need him anymore. Obioma burst into laughter. Take him back. And tell your husband what? That you gave your own child to another woman? Do you think he will clap for you? He may throw you out. He may even report you to the police. Darra's lips trembled. Leave my house, Obioma said, pointing to the door. And next time, mind your business. Darra left, heartbroken. She cried the entire journey home. How had her elder sister become this cruel? After everything she had sacrificed. That night, Darra couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her son's thin face. I have to tell my husband, she whispered to herself. But fear held her back. What if Obioma was right? What if her husband reacted badly? Hours passed. She cried, paced, sat, stood, cried again. Finally, around 2 a.m., she woke her husband. Oniika, I want to tell you something. He sat up, sleepy. What is it? She knelt beside the bed. Please don't be angry. But I need to confess. Confess what? Oniika asked. She took a deep shaky breath and told him everything. How Obioma had begged her. How she had pretended to be pregnant. How she had given one of the twins to her sister. How she had lied that the child died. How she saw the boy today, lean, neglected, unkempt. Her husband's face changed from confusion to shock to anger. You did what? He asked quietly. She sobbed. I'm so sorry. I thought I was helping her. You hid this from me for more than 2 years. I didn't know how to tell you. Please forgive me. Darra begged. He stared at her for a long moment, breathing heavily, chest rising and falling. Finally, he stood, pulled her up, and hugged her. I forgive you, he whispered. But tomorrow morning, we are going to bring our son home. They arrived at Obioma's house around 10 a.m. Udoka opened the door for them, surprised. Darra, welcome. Oniika, good morning. Hope everything is fine. Darra walked in without speaking. Obioma appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a towel. Why are you here again? She asked. Darra faced her. Tell him, she said. Tell your husband the truth. Udoka looked from one woman to the other. What truth? Darra began to speak, her voice trembling but firm. She narrated everything from beginning to end. Udoka's mouth slowly fell open. He turned to his wife, stunned. Obioma, is this true? She swallowed hard. Let me explain. Answer me. She lowered her eyes. Yes. Udoka stepped back as if he had been struck. You took her child, and lied to me. You maltreated him? I did not maltreat him. Yes, you did, Darra said angrily. You starved him. Look how hungry and unkempt he is looking. Udoka clenched his fists. Where is he? Obioma pointed outside. The boy was sitting under the mango tree, drawing lines in the sand with a small stick. Udoka went out, lifted him, and held him to his chest. I am so sorry, Udoka whispered, tears in his eyes. You deserved better. He turned to Darra and her husband. Please, forgive us. Take your child. Obioma gasped. What? Udoka, no, he belongs to us, she gave him to me. He glared at her. Not another word. Darra burst into tears when the boy was placed in her arms. Her husband touched the boy's hair gently, tears forming in his eyes. Let's go home, he said quietly. They left with the confused little boy. Back home in Abakpa, Darra and her husband poured all their love into their son. They treated him with the same tenderness they gave their 2 other children. They bathed him, fed him properly, put him in school, bought him comfortable clothes, and took him for medical checkups. They read him bedtime stories, prayed with him at night, and slowly helped him settle into the family he truly belonged to. Within just 2 months, the change was remarkable. The boy who once sat alone in dust now ran around the compound with laughter bubbling out of him. His cheeks rounded, his skin glowed, his eyes brightened. The neighbors even commented on how transformed he looked. You wouldn't believe he's the same child, people said. And truly, he wasn't. Love had recreated him. Meanwhile, back in Succa, Udoka could barely look at Obioma. Their home felt heavy, the air filled with silence that carried disappointment. One evening, when the children were asleep, he sat on the edge of the bed and said quietly, Obioma, I don't recognize who you have become. She knelt on the floor, wiping tears. Udoka, I am sorry. I didn't plan for things to turn out like this. You made a desperate request. I can understand that, he said. But what I cannot accept is how you turned that innocent child into a victim. You knew how much you suffered when you had no child. Yet you inflicted pain on someone who opened your womb. Obioma cried harder. I know. I failed. You need to reflect, he said firmly. You need to understand the weight of what you did. Tomorrow morning, you will go to your parents' house. Stay for a week. Think deeply about the kind of mother and woman you want to be. Udoka, please. This is not punishment, he said. This is for you to reset your heart. She lowered her head and said nothing. The next morning, she packed a small bag and traveled to her parents' home in Umwaria. Her mother cried when she heard everything. Her father shook his head slowly. We are so disappointed in you. How can you pay back good with evil, he said. Now I know why you were childless for so many years. For 1 week, Obioma stayed with them. She didn't go out. She prayed. She reflected. She replayed every moment she had neglected the boy. She remembered how he looked at her with confused eyes. She remembered the day Darra walked in and cried. She remembered the fear in her husband's voice when he asked why she lied. And every memory broke her. On the 7th day, her mother sat beside her and held her hand. "You cannot undo the past," she said gently. "But you can choose who you become after this." Obioma nodded. "I want to change. I want to be better." "Then go home," her father said from the doorway. "Apologize. Start again." When Obioma returned to Nsukka, Udoka opened the door for her. He didn't smile, but he stepped aside for her to enter. "I am sorry," she said immediately. "For everything. For lying. For mistreating the boy. For letting my pain turn me into someone I never wanted to be." Udoka nodded slowly. "I am glad you see it clearly now." She reached for his hands. "I want to change. I want to be a good mother. To all our children. We will take it one day at a time," Udoka replied. "But you must prove it with actions." "I will." And for the first time in many weeks, peace returned to their home, not because everything was perfect, but because healing had begun. Desperation can push anyone toward terrible decisions, but how we treat innocent people reveals who we truly are. A child is never an object to satisfy someone's pain. Gratitude is a responsibility. Never mistreat the person or thing that opened your doors. Secrets eventually surface, honesty may hurt, but lies destroy. Family should be a place of compassion, not competition. Healing begins when we accept our wrongs and choose to change. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode.